So today we're gonna start a very important topic which is actually important from the Viva point of view, from exam point of view, and it can be asked in any exam from you. So let's start it. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So Cialo Lee thesis. Basically, it is the meaning of this is the presence of the calculi or stone in the salivary gland. So basically, presence of calculi and stone in salivary gland or duct. The symptoms basically is a meal. It is basically the symptoms appear the pain and swelling at the meal time. So it is known as the meal syndrome. Okay, lack of saliva is due to the total obstruction. Basically, there is a erythema at the floor of the mouth due to infection, and commonly it is found in some mandibular gland. Okay, now, basically, the cause is unknown first of all, and vascularitis can be seen in the minor salivary glands, which is present in the palate. There is an ischemia infection of the salivary gland tissue. Now, the basically clinical features is the painless ulceration of the rapid onset, basically everted or indurated margins, and basically this is resembling to the carcinoma. Anesthesia or numbness of the palatal area of the palate mucosa. Management, it is a self-limiting and no treatment is specifically required. 8 weeks systematic treatment if needed. Exercise did for diagnostic purposes. Okay. Sarcoidosis. Sarcoidosis is a chronic means it has a chronic inflammatory condition, glomerulomatous formation and disorder. It is a really present, asymptomatic, painless, persistent enlargement of the major salivary glands. Okay, basically there is an abnormal activity of immune cells and the cells form from the clumps and then may affect the organ function leading to the symptoms. Okay, now you can see on the palatal area there is basically the formation of the granulomatous and this results in the sarcoidosis on the palate area. Now there is a reduced salivary flow. Basically, and it can be accompanied by the Sjogren's syndrome. Lymphadenopathy can be seen, and orofacial swelling and gingival enlargement can be seen. And multiple or solitary painless mucosal lesions can be seen. There are multiple which I have shown you, and on as reddish nodules on gingiva, palate, or buccal mucosa. Then cystic like skin, ophthalmic, and upper respiratory tract regions are sarcoid may be present and confirms the diagnosis. HIV infected salivary gland disease being and the salivary glands and problems and xerostomia can also occur. Now, very important topic is the hypersalivation or petallism or sialuria. Sialuria has causes like local, systematic, toxic or false. In local, what you can come across is like infection. You have wounds, microglossia, dental procedures, and new dentures. Means the patient can have candidiasis, oral wounds, or there's an enlargement of the tongue. Dental procedures like RCT can be, and new dentures like basically a new. Nausea and GERD is one of the factors that can lead to this. Actually, toxicities like iodine, heavy metals, and then false petallism like drooling, psychogenic, cerebral palsy, Inverse palsy, Parkinson disease, and stroke. The patient has the hypersalivation or sialuria. Management, treat the underlying cause. If the patient has like in the previous we have studied like it can be a stroke condition. To treat the stroke, either it is a denture, remove that denture basically. Behavior therapy, the psychogenic therapy if it can be present. Oral hygiene instructions should be done. Anticholinergic medications like atropine you have to give the patient. This is basically glycopyrrolate you can give it, and cyclopolamine can you give it. Atropine sublingual drops are present. Glycopyrrolate 1 to 2 milligram tablets are present. Scopolamine can be given in patch forms 1.5 milligram. Apply every day. Management, minimal invasive procedures like botulinum toxin, yeah, laser therapy, radiotherapy of gland, surgery if removing the gland or ligating or duct sectioning the nerve. So basically, the surgery is like removing a gland, ligating a duct, or sectioning the nerve. Basically, salivary gland tumors just account 3% of your body, but very important and commonly affect the parotid gland, and basically 10% is the minor salivary glands. In benign condition, you have pleomorphic adenoma and Warthin tumor. In malignant form, mucoepidermoid carcinoma, adenoid cystic carcinoma, and adenocarcinoma. Basically, in xerostomia, what are the effects on the mucosa? Now coming towards a very important topic which is actually xerostomia, dry mouth. So what are the effects on the mucosa? What are the effects on tongue? What are the effects like on the teeth? And what are the effects on salivary glands? Now we will discuss. Now, the mucosa will be erythematous, and basically there will be a lack of the pooling of saliva. Number one means your mucosa will be reddish in color. Number one point. The tongue is fissure tongue. Burning sensation or difficulty in mastication, basically. And then dysgeusia and oral candidiasis and halitosis. When you know there is no saliva, so there are more chances of infections like candidiasis, halitosis. Basically, because there are bad smell in or bad breath. Basically, there is no saliva. In saliva, we have studied there is ability to digestion, or there basically have the. So basically now in dental there are caries and poor dental retention. Salivary glands, you have recurrent swelling and infection and thick ropey saliva. So you have recurrent like swelling in your salivary glands and you have ropey saliva. Okay. Basically, and in dental you have caries and poor dental retention. What are the causes? If there is developmental, so there will be no development like aplasia or atresia of glands. Mean there is no development of glands. In salivary gland diseases, you have Sjogren's syndrome, primary and secondary. Okay. In primary, we will study about this dry mouth and dry eyes and rheumatoid arthritis. In secondary, you have lupus erythematosus and another form. Iatrogenic means due to any medication actually. The patient is suffering from a cancer and you are giving irradiations. Due to that reason, he has been xerostomach or become. Local causes, oral dysthesia. In basically burning mouth syndrome, there is xerostomia and mouth breather basically. Now, in metabolic diseases, in diabetes mellitus, diabetes inhibitors, in renal failure, in drugs you have antidepressants like nortriptyline. Okay, antihistamines can cause it. Decongestants can cause it. Parkinson's drugs, anti-Parkinson drugs can cause it. Hypnotics, psychotics, antipsychotic drugs, diuretics, appetite suppressants. In systematic conditions like sarcoidosis can cause HIV infections, dehydration, febrile illness, or diarrhea can cause treatment. Good oral hygiene, fluoride containing toothpaste and mouthwashes for halitosis and dental caries. Good oral hygiene is also frequent sip of water, so there's it will prevent dehydration. Less intake of sugary diets to prevent the caries and other because it can favor your caries. Chewing sugar-free gums and citrus fruits, so it can increase your saliva. Then in local therapy, you can give salivary substituents, which is carboxymethyl cellulase, carboxymethyl cellulase, nystatin drops. Pilocarpine can be given to increase the saliva. Cevimeline can give it actually. Bromhexine can be given 8 milligrams to adult and 5 to children. Okay. Now